All right. Am I back? All right. I'm sorry about that, guys. I literally am back. This sucks. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry about that. The stream is back. Let me see something. Let me actually just put the stream back. Um,
Lord, forgive me because
um, yeah, that sucks. I'm gonna finish the video. I actually did finish doing the recording for the video. So we can actually, yeah, we actually gonna just finish the recording for the video. The clip is gonna be up there. I'm gonna edit out the missing part. Sorry about that, guys. Um, sorry about that. I reconnected. That sucks. I was actually feeling good, feeling freaking awesome. Um, so yeah, my fault, guys. My fault. So let's actually kind of go on some other shit, right? Just pulling up some shit. Um, TikTok. Okay. Um, just looking up something here. This dumb fuck. Close that. Again, sorry about this, guys. Hmm. Just pulling this shit up. All right, let's get to this video. So I wanted to actually motherfucking talk about this shit, and let's go to another video. So remember, guys, we did a video recently about this idiot right here, and quite frankly, I'm just using them as a fucking stepping stone for the type of shit that I want to talk about.
I made a video on YouTube.
And here, this is the dumb shit that he actually said recently, where somebody actually had to, he actually had to come back and give a shorter than the motherfucking 15 minutes that he did when he was caping for motherfucking Candace Owens.
The catch. I made a video on YouTube trying to answer this question.
How do I know if I should listen to like Martin Luther King or Candace Owens on black issues?
And while the answer to my question on YouTube was much longer than what I'm about to present here, the ideas are generally the same. If you remember when you're in school, you learned about the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. When you're trying to contextualize people's existence and trying to contextualize why
It's not about contextualize people's existence, you dumb fuck. Who do you listen to that has a better outlook on the support of a specific community? If you have two people that are just on the surface look like they are about that community, or they're part of that community, who do you look to? The person that's looking to help that community,
they're talking
and
about
not the person who's denigrating it.
something, you can use the same technique as well. The line of questioning that you are wanting to go through is: what is the topic? Who is talking? Where are they? When are they? And why are they talking about this?
Again, I still feel like you getting defense for Candace Owens. Candace Owens is the Thomas Stowell of our generation. And Thomas Stowell hated civil rights. Why are you still saying it depends on what part of the generation they are, what part of the spatial time frame they are? This is stupid.
Generally speaking, you want to go down that line point for point in that order, but you can really do it in an order that you feel comfortable with. The goal is that you're not looking to create a hierarchy between these two individuals. In the example of this video, you're not looking to find out if Candace Owens or Martin Luther King is the more noteworthy person to be listening to about a topic.
Yes, you are. That's the question. Who do you listen to on black issues? Martin Luther King, whose words still ring poignant today, or Candace Owens?
What you're trying to do is contextualize their existence and sort of figure out the why they're talking about this, and the why exists with all the other things before that. So the only way you can get to the why is if you really understand the what, who, where, and when. I made a video on YouTube trying to answer this question.
And this is the reason why I bring this shit up. Because recently, I did the video about him, but somebody in our Discord actually dropped this article. And I'm gonna take the time to go over it, okay? So, what does identitarian deference require? Freddie's going after the identitarians again. At the root of his complaint here is that slipperiness of the identitarian defense. Roughly, identitarian defense is the idea that privileged individuals should defer to the opinions and views of oppressed individuals, especially on topics relevant to those individuals' oppression. It sounds straightforward, but it becomes exceedingly complicated in practice. Here are some of the issues. In other words, when you say that, oh, you should listen to this underprivileged group and you elect a representative, you literally are using that person's identity as a way of trying to hear what you want to hear, so that person can then be a representation of a monolith of a group. The problem is groups aren't monoliths. The necessity of the antecedent oppression theory. To defer to the opinions, the views of the oppressed people, you must first know who the oppressed people are. The method of identitarian defense cannot provide any guidance to this question. On its face, ID would demand that if you look to oppressed people to tell you who oppressed people are. But to do this, you still have to first know who oppressed people are to know who to look at. Who to look to, excuse me. To escape this impossible circularity, one is forced to have an antecedent oppression theory. That is, you must have your own independent theory of who is oppressed in order to even practice ID. But where do you get this antecedent theory? You have to somehow arrive into it on your own through reflection, through treatises on justice, morality, and so on. Whenever you get it, you necessarily get it in some way that does not involve ID, such as the only way to get ID off the ground is to have some other understanding of oppression that's totally separate from this. In other words, when people say, oh, this oppressed group needs to be listened to, they already know why this oppressed group needs to listen to. And for them to just say, like, oh no, we need to make this black, like, okay, for example, we need to listen to black people. You already know what's oppressing them. So why don't you listen to the oppression, not just saying, oh, because you're a black person, I need to listen to you. When you literally use somebody's identity to say, well, you should be the representative, it literally, one, it's redundant. Two, it gives the platform, it gives an opportunity to the platform of the worst people. Okay, and like I said, it was redundant. Then that then raises the question: what ID adds to the picture? To practice ID, you must already have a detailed theory of what makes someone oppressed. But if you already have a detailed theory of what makes someone impressed, then why do you need ID? For fucking virtue signaling. That's it. Choose between oppressed voice. Once you're able to identify which peoples are the oppressed ones, you then have to figure out which oppressed voices to defer to. Individuals, in particularly oppressed groups, are not a monolith. Let me read that again. Individuals in a particular oppressed group are not a monolith and therefore necessarily disagree with one another. Take affirmative action, for instance. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is vehemently opposed to affirmative action while Al Sharpton is not. To which voice should one defer? The one that is for the support of that minority group. There are various ways to handle this. And by the way, this article, I know this seems weird, but this article was actually written in 2013. There are various ways to handle disagreement, but none are terribly satisfactory. You can require that ID only attach to the majority of you, but there are problems with such approach. First, it may not always be knowledgeable what the majority view is. In fact, if the issue has more than two perspectives, it is very possible that there is no majority view. In which case would you do? Go with the plurality of views. Well, second, and it seems odd to think that the majority view will tell you what's correct. When the majority of views enjoys 90% of support, then maybe. But what if there's a 51 to 49% thing? Take abortion, for instance. A recent Gallup poll found that among women, 44% identify as pro-life, while 50% identify as pro-choice. Are we prepared to say that ID indicates you should be pro-choice? Is it the 6% difference among women perspectives enough to animate that move? What if 4% of the women change their minds? Would the dictates of ID flip, demanding that allies of women be pro-life? Furthermore, it's a national number. I can't find regional data, but I'd be surprised if there were not at least some conservative-leaning states where pro-life women outnumber pro-choice women. Some residents of those states deferred to the majority of voices of women in those states and believe that as pro-lifers believe. So again, this is going to that whole idea of just because you want to say, hey, this person, and this, when people use, their identitarian defense, they're really just saying this person agrees with me and they're the elected monolith leader of that group. That's all this identity, like defensive politics, are. The third major voices, the majority of voices vacillate over time. For instance, in 1994, Pew has been asking Black Americans what they think is the most responsible for blacks not getting ahead, blacks themselves or discrimination. This is the breakdown over the time. As you can see, in 1995, 60% of blacks thought discrimination was responsible for blacks not getting ahead. That number is now down to 40%, and the majority of blacks now think blacks themselves are mostly responsible for not getting ahead. In the meantime, this answer shot up and down, with blacks some years citing discrimination as the biggest factors, and other years citing blacks themselves as the biggest factor. And again, this does nothing about, this is feels. This is just feels. It says nothing about facts. It says nothing about systematic poverty. It says nothing about the incarceral system. It literally is just based on feels. What should ID have demanded of those us demanded of us during those swings? It is a reality. It is. Is it really the case that in the late 1990s we should have reformed our opinion and thought blacks themselves were most responsible for not getting ahead, and then switched our opinion again just a couple of years later, then switched our opinion yet again a few years later? Another way to settle this disagreement is to use facts and research. So, for instance, we can do studies and collect evidence about how much discrimination is harming blacks in the United States, and sounds fine. That this sounds fine to me, but it also makes ID unnecessary. You can just look straight to the research. Finally, you can solve disputes by just cherry picking voices you like, and this is what a lot of the woke skulls actually do. They just cherry pick the voices they like. They just pick who they want to listen to. It says all black people think this way, or all trans people think this way, or all gay people think this way. Finally, you can just solve disputes by cherry picking the voices you like. This, I suspect, is what most people actually do. For instance, you won't find any liberal deferring to a voice saying what the graph says above the majority of blacks' beliefs. So what you can do is just figure out what you want to believe, and then find someone with in the appropriate oppressed group who believes as you do, then say that you're deferring to their voice in this matter. This works as a way of resolving disputes by only gutting the whole point of ID. This is where you get the pick me's. This is where you get the traitors. It's I'm using this person as a representation of the group that I want to. It's they're basically my mouthpiece. Resolving disputes among oppressed people. The final problem that I was raised is how to handle disagreements among two different sets of oppressed people that are not reconcilable. The Israel-Palestine conflict provides a helpful example. The Jewish people and the Palestinian people are oppressed people, so both voices ought to be deferred to. There are some Jewish Israelis, how many I don't know, that have claim that owning to their oppressed status, they should have total control over the disputed territories and have a Jewish controlled state on that land. On the flip side, there are Palestinians who say their oppressions can only be remedied by handing the same disputed lands to the Palestinians for their state. So what do we do? ID would presume to have us defer simultaneously to the voices of both people, but we literally cannot. We would literally force pick between two voices. This would require that once again we have some external notion of what's right and wrong. Otherwise, we'd have no idea who voices is right one to listen to. If we have some external notion of what's right and wrong, it is once again very clear that what ID is bringing to the party. Nothing. And this is the thing, and this is what I will say. Just going on this, just finishing this. This is why I say that a lot of people they don't form opinions of themselves, themselves. They regurgitate the shit that they do, and like to a certain extent, we all do. But a lot of people just don't think. They just think, "Oh shit, this person said it, so it must be real." And this shit that's happening on the online left, where you get these people that's just like, "Well, you need to listen to this group. You need to listen to that group." I would rather you listen to who's right, not just because you're a representative of that group. And we need to understand this. God, we need to understand this on the left. That just because you're part of a marginalized group, don't mean you are always right. Just because you suffered, just because you're excised from the fucking conservatives, doesn't make you a right group because the conservatives doesn't like your identity. And this is, we need to get over this as fucking leftists. Because in the end, it does nothing but hurt people. And then it causes people who may actually be in pain to actually be missing out. I know it's no secret. You guys know it's no secret that I think that young boys and men, they are suffering. The issue with the black pill and the red pill, it is a response to the suffering of the loneliness that they have. And if you can't see that, and you only think because they're male you don't have to listen to them, that's bullshit. And it's just going back to, well, you deserve to be protected because you're a part of a minority group. And instead of listening to people that may be hurt. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, and all that other good shit. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by October the 1st. And yeah, thank you for watching this clip. Shit. Can't believe that my shit dropped on me. Alright, so I don't know how much I'm gonna get through this video, but a friend of mine sent it to me, and I would say that they really don't like me, but they like spending time with me, but they really don't like me from the judging of this next video. So let's get to it. So I try to do videos based on what people send me. I'm just now telling friends of mine how much I stream and what I'm trying to do with my stream and how I'm trying to take it to the next level. And so a friend of mine sent me this video and said that this is a video of a horrible person. I tend to listen to when people give me bait, but like, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see what this is going, and yeah. Oh God. Let's go. Okay, so this is Charleston White versus Princella the Queenmaker.
It's the High Powered Podcast. Lit conversations, debates, and advice that keep you turned up.
I don't know. Maybe I want to go on something like this. Yeah, I may actually want to start going on shit like this. I don't know. No sound. No sound. I already see two things that I like. I'm sorry. My fault. Why is it no sound?
But here's the thing, because we
Okay, so here's the sound. Here's the sound. Let's go.
have put the psychological and the sociological program, and we eliminated the foundational biological program, or you try to put the psychological program before the biological program, and when you
Giving
do
them
that,
food stamp, WIC, all that bullshit when they don't understand prenatal. So what she breaking down, she just, man, goddamn you good, bro. Damn you good.
Okay, so it seems that we came in the middle of this podcast. I don't. Okay, God. All right, let's go. Wait, what's going on? What's going on? Why are we seeing mountains? I thought I actually had scrubbed in where I saw the people started.
Shit, you good. Oh, that's under.
All right, so I literally started to try to scrub this so I saw people, and that's why you see the progression bar. I really haven't watched this, but let's see what they're talking about.
So biology, right? That's all them motherfucking things on the wall.
Yep.
That's in our bodies. From the vitamins, the zinc, potassium. That's the biology. Eating right, the proper water, understanding that your body is made up of this much of water. That's biology. That's the gift of life, and that's where most black women in these environments are failing that because they don't have the prenatal care, they don't have the biology.
Right. And see, they did.
No, I don't need a beer, but like this is gonna sound really weird. Okay, so I will say this, and you know, as a older African American person, I'm in my 40s, and I know the in the 90s the lack of scientific teaching and what some people actually try to do later on in life. I get the thing about living healthy and Lord knows in a environment where you're living mostly urban lives where they have the history of, you know, and I was talking to a friend of mine where you have the history of, you know, poisonous chemicals in the water or in the ground and shit like that, and to like be access to new information sometimes. And even you even see this even with like anti-vaxxers. If you never had a love for education and you just heard conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory, a lot of this can sound really weird to you. So I'm just letting you guys know that this may sound a little weird, but let's go.
But here's the thing, because we have put the psychological and the sociological program and we eliminated the foundation of biology, because everybody is trying to talk about psychology and sociology. You want to know how you know that's true? Because you got people out here saying, I feel like I'm a man. You know, men can have periods. This is the sociological program before the biological program, creating mental disorders in people, right?
No, that's not what it is. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't want to get canceled like Rico. Fuck it, but I'm gonna say it. Gender identity has nothing to do with the biological sex. Gender identity and sexuality are correlative, but they're not causative. And this is what I'm talking about. It's just one of those. It's just. Again, I have my own suspicions about why certain communities actually push a traditional narrative. It's because they didn't have the socioeconomics to worry about other things outside of basic survival. And so when you hear about, I've had a conversation where me and friends of mine or associates, and you know I've had to like break down like certain things you shouldn't just say is just white people shit. And this is like seriously, like I've had to have conversations with people, and like my neighbor, you guys saw him on the channel when he was living upstairs. We actually together used to watch forage videos. Now, him being in his late 40s, about to hit 50s, me being in my early 40s, we would actually watch videos of people doing forage shit. And it would be more along the lines of like, yo, if we actually had the fundings to build a fucking forge, we would build a fucking forge and just learn metal crafting. Now, to some people, if you don't have the funds enough and you don't have the ambition to learn, or it's not even that you don't have the ambition to learn, it's you don't have the funds, so you start to shit on those things because you say, oh, that's some shit that, you know, that black people don't do. It's one of those things where it's just like, but if we had the funding to learn how to become, amateur blacksmiths, would some of us do it? And the honest truth of it is yes. I never forget it. Like when they start to legalize marijuana, one of the things that actually happened was in California, some guys who didn't have to hide the fact that they was selling weed anymore, they started like, oh shit, let me learn how to do glass blowing so I can motherfucking sell my own personal bongs. And not only did they have a successful marijuana business, but they literally had successful bong businesses because they learned glass blowing because they didn't have to spend so much time being with the shit illegal. The illegal energy that they had, they put it towards other shit. This is why I want to like. I'm off on a rant. I'm sorry, I'm stun locked, but this is that shit that I would if we didn't have the technological gap because of poverty, how many more people would be into streaming? How many more black people would have actually done like some of the shit that they would have seen what quote unquote white people would do? It I'm okay, I'm on a tangent. Sorry about that, guys.
because you've eliminated that. Now we're talking about programming in school. Again, that's the program before the biology, continuing to create these mental disorders because the proper order is biology, psychology, sociology.
Your psychology is tied to your biology. Fuck. And again, it's one of those things where it's just like if you don't understand the correlation and in some cases causation of mental disorders and how it affects your physical body. Okay, let's go.
Biology, psychology, sociology, in that order.
Mind, body, soul.
Yeah, in that order, right? So if you don't do that, right, you're going to have a bunch of people who cannot see where the errors are in life because they have eliminated the foundation. No structure can survive on a cracked foundation, but they didn't remove the foundation and got people all in the air willy-nilly.
So let me just.
What foundation? I'm sorry. What foundation? What foundation? What foundation are you talking about?
Say this, right? So I'm sitting here listening to her talk. And I'm saying, man, most of us have children at a very young age. And the things that we allow our children to see because we're young with these young brains from 0 to 5,
Yeah.
it distorts everything. This woman done broke down in the order in which we have to operate. That's why one party in politics is way more powerful over black people than other parties because they create a lot of social programs, a lot of sociology, and it focuses a lot on our socio-economic status.
Right.
And it never talks about our biology makeup.
No.
It never.
What the fuck are you talking about? There is no difference in biology between people of African descent and people from other parts of the world that when they migrated out of Africa. We are all still fucking humans. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god, you're fuck. Oh my god. This is that pseudoscience bullshit. You see a difference of fucking less than 1%, and you're saying that it's a difference? It's not a difference, you don't. Okay.
Talks about our mindset. So that's why when I started working with children in the juvenile system, and I would ask the detention worker, man, what's different about the kids today than we were before? And they said, well, the kids today is substance abuse problems and mental health issues, biology and psychology.
Yeah. And
Wait, what? How? You know, people had undiagnosed motherfucking mental illnesses 30 years ago. They did. They had undiagnosed shit 40 years ago, 50 years ago. It was just undiagnosed, and we didn't have a society that actually dealt with it. We just ignored it and pushed the shit on the table. And so many people self-medicated with motherfucking alcohol or weed. Am I saying some of the prescription drugs we got are any better? I don't know. I don't take them. But they help people. What are you talking about? This shit didn't just pop up 20 years ago. It was undiagnosed for a lot of people. Okay, fuck.
And how did that happen? So John Calhoun did a study, okay, on rats. Universe 25, Rat Utopia. He took 8 pairs of mice and put them in an artificial environment, gave them everything they needed, gave them housing, gave them food, and put them in a lot of space. When they took the mice out of their natural environment. They no longer had to forage for food. right? And so in this cramped in environment, what happened? The energy like testosterone built up, and then they boom the population from 8 mice to 2,200 before it
They just
collapsed.
start fucking.
Yep,
That's what
it.
they're doing together. They do a bunch of fucking
But that's
together.
that's what happened with black folks, because when you create this hierarchical system, right? Again, remember at the bottom is where the most freedom is. The least amount of controls. At the top is more constrained, because this is where your board of directors are. You have to have organization the higher you go up. So this is why it's more constrained and more disciplined. At the bottom, there's less controls, more relaxed, and so black folks don't have no real rules. They don't have no real rules, and so then you come in with the social programs, doing just like university.
Wait, what? Oh my god. This is so stupid. That's not what's going on. That's not how it all works. Yes, when you actually take away somebody's motherfucking, when you take away the whole hunting and gathering lifestyle of people, when you actually help support motherfucking, where people don't have to hunt for food, it's in a way where the paradigm actually changes, where yeah, you have to actually do this, you have to do this in order for things to be motherfucking a different way. Are you talking about going to an anarcho-primalist situation where motherfuckers are have to strap and strive for like every fucking thing? What the fuck are you talking about? The goals of humans is to make sure that life is better for the next generation. What is it? I study war so my son can actually study fucking books? Like, why would you say that? And the fact is, yes, we live in a fucking society. And society, they should take care of the lowest among them, because the fucking slowest, the fucking dragged down, keep us all dragged down. We are only as strong as our weakest fucking link. And social programs, to be honest with you, they are fucking needed if you want to make society better. This whole libertarian, oh god. Okay, let's go.
Verse 25, to the point that the mice forgot how to be mice. So people think it's a matriarchy.
We are not mice. We are humans. If you want to go back to the anarcho-primitive lifestyle, cool. Get the fuck off the internet. Stop using technology, and go get a hunter-gatherer tribe. But that's not it. Oh my god, let's go.
In the black community, it's not a matriarchy or a patriarchy. It's free flow, uncontrolled, wild animals.
That's
down there.
No, it is not. It is people that are living in a lot of cases, poverty, over police, poison neighborhoods, and people that have to live in despair. And it's not just black neighborhoods. It's any fucking poor neighborhood. And this is the shit that we were just covering with that other fucking video. Oh my god, this irritates me. Because all it starts to do is, it's the reason why black people pose is because of them. Let's continue.
That's why when you see, if you look at a black household,
Yeah.
you'll see 5 different religions in that one household.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if
You know what? We don't need to have any religions in that household. Great. We can motherfucking take that number and drop it down to 0.
when you look at other cultures, it's only one religion out of this house because it's more controlled. When you look at our kids in 18, 19, 20, we damn near fucking up till we 40.
Yeah.
When you look at the Paris Hiltons,
Right.
they was fuck ups at first. But the higher you get up, the more control.
The more control. Yeah.
The more control.
So what are you saying, that you should control your kids? And the fact is, the reason why they quote unquote had more control, because they were being controlled by money. Do you think that you should just control your kids by money? What the fuck? Okay, let's go.
we used to have control.
Yeah. At one point, when the government told us how to live, so you understand, ex-KGB de facto, Yuri Bezmenov, he came out in 1984 and told people about ideological subversion. Most people don't understand what ideological subversion is. Ideologies, the ideologies or the philosophies that you all live by that govern your behavior, because thinking makes it so. Thinking precedes action. So whatever you do is based on your core program. So ideological subversion is how to destroy or subvert or take away the ideologies. So the first step to ideological subversion is demoralization, destabilization, crisis, and then normalization. Normalization is a process. So what is normal is not natural. So to demoralize somebody, before you
Okay, I'm disgusted. I can't watch this anymore. I promised my friend I'll watch some of it. This is so fucking stupid because in the end, all these people want to do is they're advocating for control. They're advocating for control instead of building people up so you don't need control, so you won't need the motherfucking big fairy in the sky that says do shit because I said so. No, you need to control, and if you don't have control, then you're running wild and you're like, it's stupid. Let's hear some more. All right, let's go.
moralize, you got to say what morality is. What is moralization? Moralization is a byproduct of philosophy. Okay, you create a philosophy, or this is how we do things, and then from that philosophy, you create a moral standard, right and wrong, based on the philosophy. The people at the top create that, and then they push it down to the people on the bottom and tell them what to do. This is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. That comes from the top. It don't come from the bottom. So when you
No, correct morality comes from the bottom. It's how we all live together. And if the fact is, if you need somebody from the top to tell you how to act, then you have no moral compass. You're morally fucking immature. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm done. This shit's gonna piss me off. This is gonna piss me off. I'm sorry. I can't. This is why I don't listen to some podcasts. This is why I don't listen to some podcasts, because it's stupid. Because all these people are doing is trying to throw around words that they've actually saw in the motherfucking goddamn thesaurus. In the end, what will make people better? Either is it telling people what to do and just having them do it because I said so, or actually giving people the right tools and the morality to make changes and make themselves feel better. I don't know. Just dumb. Just fucking dumb. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. And I want to holler at my friend for making me watch some of this. Oh, God. This. Yeah. Cut it with this segment here. Alright. I'm sorry, guys, about the shit not working earlier. I do apologize for that. We're gonna go to this final video, and I already can tell that I'm not gonna get through this one today. I am not gonna get through this one today, but we can try. We can try. Werewolf happens twice a month. Yeah. All right. So I'm doing another response to Synthetic Man. So Synthetic Man is a YouTuber that always have the curse idea of woke is bad and all that other good bullshit. And I think we did a video talking about his review of God of War Ragnarok, and yeah, I think it was Synthetic Man. Yeah, it was God of Synthetic Man cries, God of World 2 woke. And I know this is just gonna be an even worse video. Oh my God, this is gonna be painful, guys. This is gonna be painful. Anyway, Synthetic Man is one of these edgy little boys. These edgy little boys that get upset about everything that's not just like looks like him in gaming. And so he has something to say about the most recent Microsoft gaming showcase. It's about a month and a half ago. Somebody actually told me to cover this, and I'm covering it now. Let's go.
Well, gaming is officially dead. I don't think I need to title any more videos. Gaming is dying. We have finally reached the final stage of life of the gaming industry, where despite showing hundreds of games, maybe a handful looked even remotely playable. I can't believe...
How do you know if they're playable or not, you dumb fuck? You just say you don't like the aesthetic. Just say you don't like the aesthetic and call it a day.
How horrible this year's E3 was. And yes, I know it's not technically E3, but we got a bunch of presentations from all the major publishers except Nintendo, so it might as well be E3, right? Honestly, that was just beyond horrible. It felt like a colossal waste of time, right? Just like E3 2021. Despite the PlayStation Showcase not being good by any metric, I think almost all of the show...
Wait, the PlayStation Showcase was actually in some places okay. Spider-Man 2, that motherfucking demo was actually awesome. But let's go.
Those we saw here were actually significantly worse. At least there was 3 games that looked fairly interesting at the PlayStation Showcase. I don't think a single other show had that many. So if you watch the PlayStation Showcase video, you know how the rules work.
I have a feeling you get beat up a lot in real life.
Shut up! You're at power!
Right.
Thank you for subscribing.
Anyway.
Thank you for subscribing.
Counter again. Though if I broke down every show as thoroughly as I did the PlayStation one, this video would be well over an hour long, so I'm going to try to mostly just hit the highlights and condense the less interesting stuff or just skip it altogether. So without further ado, here's not E3 2023. So let's start off with the Xbox Showcase. Even though it wasn't the first, it was clearly the one that the most people were excited to see, given that Microsoft hasn't released any good exclusive games in years at this point and bought up so many studios, they would have to have something to show by now.
You would think they would have to have something to show by now, but it's not.
And of course, we already knew there would be a Starfield-specific showcase, so the normie Zoomer Bethesda fans, I'm sure, got super excited over that Starfield footage, but we'll cover that last, as it was at the end of the show. Unfortunately, the show started off in one of the worst ways it possibly could, by giving us a CG-only trailer of the much-anticipated Fable reboot, sequel, whatever. Despite being announced years ago at this point, it clearly was in some kind of development hell, as they still have no gameplay to show us. And this...
Okay, so this is pretty standard review of what he's saying. He hasn't mentioned the word woke yet, and we're already 2 minutes in the video, so yay, woohoo.
Trailer looked fucking horrible. This female protagonist looks ugly as shit, genuinely has a man face, and most of the trailer is stuck with this nerdy guy who I don't even remember where I've seen him before, some nerdy...
God, there we go. If the protagonist is not immediately fuckable, and I gotta try a little bit harder to masturbate, then it's, you know, she's ugly.
TV show or movie or something. I don't care. He plays the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. Yes, they took the Fable title literally. It is now actually about fables. And now I'm actually glad I took the time to play Fable Anniversary a few months ago, so I now know this is not anything like Fable. This is clearly a complete reboot, Saints Row style, that doesn't appeal to fans of the original in any way. And how would we even know if it's a good game if we see no gameplay? So, truly a horrific trailer on multiple levels. Fable is dead again. The second game trailer...
But you don't know that. You just saw a CGI. You don't know what the gameplay is. You don't know what the story is. You just saw some story. All right, fuck. This dude is an idiot.
Was another CG one for South of Midnight, featuring a black female protagonist. At the very least, I can say the setting is appropriate. It seems to take place in a bayou, but I can't help but notice a pattern across all these various game trailer showcases over the past couple years seem to have a running theme. The next trailer was a new Star Wars game, Star Wars Outlaws, featuring a...
He's upset because 2 of the games that he saw so far have a woman protagonist. What's so wrong with that? All right, let's go.
Female protagonist. Basically a Rule 63 version of Han Solo. And it's yet another CG trailer. Now, we do get to see gameplay for this during the Ubisoft Forward conference, which I'll cover later in this video, but I find it funny that the first 3 trailers have 0 gameplay in them. Very similar to Sony's. Then the Xbox presenter...
It's almost as if they knew what they were doing when they came... Oh my god, let's go.
comes out, who coincidentally I'm sure is also a black woman, and tells us how great Xbox fans are. All 5 of them.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything? Why would he just mention that? I played Echo once, yeah. I played it back on the Sega. But why does he have to mention that she's a black woman? Like, dude, calm your tits. It is many people of the diversity in the gaming industry. Like, what is that supposed to do? Oh my god.
I guess.
You are the heart and soul of Xbox. Your passion
Okay,
drives
come on.
us,
This is
and
so
you are the
cringe.
inspiration for the visionaries whose
You are
games
the
we
heart and
showcase
soul of
today.
Xbox. Please give us
From
money.
me,
I mean, seriously, do Xbox fanboys even still exist? Or like Game Pass subscribers? That's what they should be called at this point. It's the only thing the brand's got going for it left. Then we're shown some indie game with 33-player co-op. No comment, really. And then finally, we see something kind of interesting with Payday 3. Finally, after milking DLC for like a decade, I guess they stopped making money on 2 and have to make 3. I'll probably play this with friends, so I'm not going to shit on it
But you just shitting. Oh my god, okay. Let's go.
or anything. That was one of the very few interesting games that were shown. Next up is the Persona 3 remake, and all I'm going to say is Persona 3 didn't need a remake. I played it all the way through and 4 a few years back, and they're...
How motherfucking self-centered do you have to be to realize that they just didn't make the game for you? Other people may want to play it. All right, let's go.
great games. I don't care if they're PS2 games and have more chibi-like graphics. It didn't need a fucking remake, Atlas. You're running out of ideas. I'm sure various aspects of the writing and the voice acting will be downgraded, though I know a lot of you weebs play with subtitles anyway. The point is, the game didn't need a fucking remake. Okay, moving on.
Wait, is insulting people just the only thing that he can do competently? Not good, just competent.
The next game showed was Avowed, which is Obsidian's Skyrim clone. Now, if this was shown a decade ago, I might have actually been pretty excited for it, but Obsidian hasn't made a good game in probably close to 10 years. Outer Worlds was fucking horrible, some of the worst writing I've ever seen in an RPG.
No, it was just too deep for you to understand. That was going on. It was too deep for you to understand. Well, let's go.
PG, just blatant capitalism bad. And you gotta realize Obsidian doesn't have almost any of the people working for it that were there when New Vegas was being developed, okay? It happens to all these studios. They make some great games, and then years later, when all those people have retired or moved to another company or got promoted out of a real creative role, then their games go to shit. I've seen it happen a million times by now. There's no reason to think this game will be good. The next couple games weren't anything interesting, and then we get to the second Hellblade game again, and no, I'm not going to play it, and I'm not going to play the first either. I don't care how good the story is. It's obviously another cinematic movie game.
Okay. Alright. He's just giving a rundown. Okay, let's go.
I don't want to play any of these unless I absolutely have to. If you enjoy it, that's fine. I fucking hate movie games. You should know this by now. Then there's a trailer for yet another Fallout 76 expansion. I cannot believe people are still playing that game. Then we get a reveal for the new Capcom game, Path of the Goddess, with a clear Eastern-inspired aesthetic. I'll be honest, with what little gameplay was shown here, I wasn't really sold on it, but Capcom is pretty good with action games, so there's actually a pretty good chance this will end up being...
I mean, like, at least they're selling it. They're actually trying to pick it where it's presentable, even if you don't like it.
A good game. Then nothing interesting was shown for nearly 10 minutes, though I do find it hilarious that Blizzard wants to charge money for the co-op campaign that they promised before release of Overwatch 2. Truly the...
And again, this is one of those things where just like, I don't trust Blizzard or Activision to actively do what they were supposed to do. Well, let's go.
Scummiest company in gaming right now. Then we get shown another Starfield trailer, which I'm not going to talk about because there's a huge showcase at the end of the Xbox showcase, so no point in really going into it now. Then we see that Don't Nod, the creators of Life is Strange, are actually working on 2 games. They're working on that weird Banisher game where you have the dead black wife, and they're also working on some kind of climbing puzzle action game or something. Looks pretty generic. Then finally, another vaguely interesting game was shown, Still Wakes the Deep, a horror game taking place on an oil rig by the creators of Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of A Machine for Pigs, but it wasn't terrible by any stretch, so maybe this horror game will be fun to play. At least it'll make for a good stream game anyway. Then a bit later, we get yet another trailer for the new Cyberpunk 2077 expansion, and if you're one of the...
Dude, I'm tired, and yeah, he's a fucking dick. Anyway, guys, like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna cut this segment here. And, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm about to fall asleep because he's a boring dick. And you can be a dick, but you can be boring. Or you can be boring, but you can't be both. Anyway. I want to whiff that gunk, you're getting all up on that chair. I mean, like, yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm about to take my ass to bed. I know it's a little bit early, but I'm fucking tired. Anyway, then they make ET too. I don't know. But yeah, like guys, sorry this is gonna be a short stream. Like I said, I'm a little bit tired, and of course we had to fuck up early in the day. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm calling it a night, guys. A little bit tired.
What do you think that these executives are afraid you're going to do to white America?
Probably stop some racism.
Stop racism?
Yeah, they're probably afraid of that because then people don't hate each other, then people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other, they find out who's the problem.
Which is?
Greedy people.
Greedy. I have a couple things I want to ask you there. Do you really think that some of the guys that you dealt with at NBC, no names, right? Because there's lawsuits for that too, that some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism, is to promote racism, you know, right? In order to make things work. If you feel better because you're white and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, you know, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but shit, they say I'm white. I'm going to use this.
Right, absolutely.
Get this job. I'm hungry, you know. But, and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but...
Now, all right, you and I are about the same age, right? We're in our mid-30s. How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to have racism in the country, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
You can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you're like the people that are in power. To me, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, people that get to become executives become like the people that were already executives.
I don't know, maybe...
They go in with good intentions, but it eats them up. It's like a cesspool, you know, it just gets on you and it starts
eating. The system levels them.
Pretty soon it's all gone.
Is that what a cesspool sounds like?
Yes.